A really fun match to be a part of, and the crowd was awesome, I thought, for both sides. And another example of why this state makes volleyball so special. Our team was really good in Game 5 and kind of went back to what we've been trusting all year and just started playing our game, and I think that's a great sign of where we're headed is when we can play our loosest volleyball in the 5th game.
You mentioned the 5th set. It seemed like you had a high number of tips work for you there, and that goes against what you want to, but what was working that 5th set with all those tips?
Well, yeah, I just think they were you could tell early on that Creighton was not going to let our middles beat them, and so we went away from them, even though that's what's one thing that's made us great all year. And then they were still on Becca, but it just opened up those tips for her to strategically place them. So I thought she did a great job of being smart, and again, going back to what's made us great was huge.
You sort of been waiting to see Virginia take over a game like she did in that 3rd set. What did you see from her there and through the rest of the night?
Yeah, just after Game 2, we told the team, like, we got to trust Virginia to kill some balls back there, and she came out of the locker room and killed a bunch of balls and then got her serve going, and you can just see, like, what a weapon that is when she trusted. And I thought it was awesome, like, huge game for Virginia, and we really needed that as a team. And I think her personally, just to have a great game in a big environment where she has to take over the game or we might lose that.
Virginia, what was working for you in Bergen and you at the service line?
I would say I relied a lot on my teammates because I was kind of scared, honestly. But like anxiety, kind of, it's a lot, and stress is high in this kind of games. But I try to, as we said in one of the timeouts, to try to rely on the teammates that have like confidence in that moment if you don't have it right now in that moment. So I try to do that, and it kind of helped. So.
Virginia, what was it like to play in that atmosphere for you?
It was great. Yeah, it was huge.
And then the new experience too, did it take a while to settle in, or what was your kind of takeaway from it?
It was great. It was a hard game. I'm glad we won.
Virginia, in that 5th set, after you get a point throughout the game, there'd be a lot of smiles after, but I saw you get a kill, and it was a straight face in the 5th set. Can you speak on the mentality in that last set?
Someone told me that if I smile, I play better. So I'm trying to improve to that because I'm not like a very happy face when I play, and I try to do better on that. Probably like some stress and something that was like kind of releasing, so that helped.
Bergen, what can you say about the work Virginia's put in, not only on the court but off the court, getting acclimated with this program?
Yeah, she's done a great job, and I can't even imagine trying to move across the country and not only being adjusted to the culture and your teammates and the language, but also trying to adjust to the volleyball. So you can tell each and every day she comes in with just such a great mentality, and she's so intentional in everything she does, and we've seen her grow like so drastically just in the last couple of weeks. So I'm really proud of her, just even on the hard days, like she's still just being super intentional with what she's doing, no matter what she is doing, whether it's serving, blocking, hitting, all the things.
Danny, Creighton was kind of making a push in the 5th and almost had an ace on that serve, and Olivia just kind of laid out and swallowed out and saved it, and you guys got the point off of it. How big of a play just to shift what could have changed the complexion of the 5th?
I honestly don't remember that. I just know we were Creighton's a really, really tough team to play. They always play so hard, and they're never out of a game. And I've learned that, like, watching Nebraska, being a part of them, watching them, and then playing Creighton when I was at Louisville, just always a battle till the final point. And so every single point you can earn is just massive for momentum. So that probably was a big turning point. I also thought, like, Macy Bosinger came in and had 2 really nice serves. I thought that gave our team a lot of confidence. Just somebody that hadn't only played 1 point before, missed her serve, and then comes in Game 5 and has a couple that, like, we really needed in that moment.
Bergen, a lot of errors on your side in that 2nd set. You bounced back with a really clean set in Game 3. How is this team able to kind of self-correct within matches and improve on areas where you're struggling?
Yeah, I think we just fall back on our training, and like Dani said, just go back to what we know and playing Nebraska volleyball. And we knew the 2nd set was not even close to our best, and we only lost by 4. So that was encouraging to us, but it also kind of lit a fire under us to, like, if they're going to have to beat us, they have to beat us because they play better than us, not just because we hand them the game.
Bergen, what's the feeling like, a record-setting crowd, to come into this environment and leave with the result that you do?
Yeah, it feels great. I mean, Creighton's always going to be a big game, no matter where it's at, what time of the day, when, like, it's always going to be a huge game. So it's awesome that people of Nebraska showed out, and I had no doubt that they would. And obviously getting a win makes it a little sweeter. So it'll be a good bus ride home.
How loud was that? What loud that? Go Big Red and lots of J chant. How loud was that? How do you handle that noise when they're on the court?
It was very loud. Me and Andy and Harper were up there, and we were like, we're going to have to scream at each other during this play. But it's super exciting, and it's fun to be a part of, and it's just a great atmosphere to be in. But it definitely does kind of make you go back to your training again, because you can't really hear each other, so you just have to have a feel of where each other is, and that comes from practice.
Hey, Coach, you put Campbell in set 3 to be able to serve. She seemed a bit surprised on the bench. You were calling her number. Then you put her back in set 5 when the pressure was on. What does it mean to her to have that confidence from you to play when maybe the score is a bit higher, but also in a crunch time situation?
Yeah, we hadn't really talked about using her in that way until today, and just felt like she has a type of serve that would disrupt Creighton, so let's give it a try. And so, yeah, she was pretty shocked, but I was pretty proud that she made her serve, and then she was great. That was game 4 when it was getting loud and we were making a comeback, and she hit another great serve. But it's tough to use her because, you know, you want to save the double sub, but so we have to figure out exactly how we're going to do that going forward.
Coach, you had 4 players with at least 12 kills. What can you say about Bergen's distribution tonight?
Yeah, I thought Bergen was fantastic, but we talked a little bit about after the game, just we kind of went away from setting the middles, and we got to stick with, again, our game plan and what makes us great. And but other than that, I thought once we started trusting Virginia, the distribution was fantastic, and it was pretty even across the board. And because our middles are such a focal point, it just gave our pins great looks. So that's huge.
Why did you decide to start Olivia at libero, and how do you think she did?
You know, again, it's funny. People are like, "Who's starting, Lainey or Liv?" And in my mind, they're both starters, and we need both of them as bad as the other. And I thought our passing had been a little shaky the last couple games, and just not confident. So I thought maybe Liv could steady that out, and I thought she did a great job. And then, you know, Lainey's defensive mindset and her mentality back there is something this team desperately needs. So I thought she had one of her best games tonight too. So, you know, it's not probably the end of the libero jersey for Lainey, and I'm sure Liv will get a chance to wear it a bunch more too. So again, it's hard because I look at them as they're both starters to me. I know one has to wear the jersey, but they're both equally important to this team and our success.
How big was Liv with her second contact? I mean, Bergen's had 19 digs out there, and to get Liv to she had 7 assists. How big was their second contact?
Yeah, super important. You know, and that's a deal breaker too for liberos. You got to be able to set the ball. And I thought we did a better job too of we set Virginia a little bit more on out of system, which helped a lot. Takes pressure off Taylor and Harper.
Time for a couple more.
Dani, you guys obviously have one more non-conference game left, but you've won all the matches against the ranked teams you've played. You've gotten the experimental lineups over the past month, so you feel like you've gotten out of the preseason games what you've wanted to?
Yeah, I definitely think so. You know, and again, sign of a great team when you can make all these changes and really work on things and still be whatever 9-0, 7-0, I don't know, but be undefeated and feel great going into our last non-conference game that we not only have a great core group of starters, but we have a bunch of players that can contribute and we're going to need this year.
Hey, Dani, what was it like just re-engaging yourself in this rivalry, especially with that atmosphere, and did it kind of meet your expectations of what it would feel like?
For sure. You know, being gone for 8 years, and that was also a big, you know, part of Creighton's rise to how great they've gotten. So I've missed a lot of heated battles. I've always watched them on TV, and luckily they're always on a night where you can typically watch. So it definitely met my expectations from a game and the crowd and, you know, just how into it people were. You know, of course, I'm looking back, I want to play better, and I'm sure Creighton's going to look at and be like, this game was in our hands, a couple points here and there, but that's what makes rivalry games so fun, is that anything can happen. There's a lot of emotions. And now I thought, you know, I know there's a lot of Nebraska fans, but there were tons of Creighton fans too. When I left. The last game we played in here was like probably 90% Nebraska fans. So it's a testament to Creighton and how much their program's grown, and that not only they're still competing at a high level, but they've brought a lot of people into their program.
Bergen, Nebraska and Creighton, you've now experienced this match in multiple ways, taking each other to 5 sets. How does a game like this prepare you for conference play when the two of you battle so hard at this point in the season?
Yeah, I mean, it's great preparation for conference and just for the tournament. And we've talked about this after today and after the Kentucky game. Like, we learn a lot from these games. We don't learn as much when we're just crushing teams. So obviously, like Dani said, we want to play better, and we're going to find things that we wish that we could have done better. But it's good for us to be in these situations right now so we know how to handle them when it comes down to it.
All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.